Welcome to another Please Go Away Vacations series of sneak previews for our one of a kind, personally escorted, value added feature travel experiences. Today, we're going to be featuring the Alaska Adventure, scheduled for July the 24th through August the 4th of 2021. We are promoting this experience in cooperation with Princess Cruises, regularly named one of the, not one of, actually, the top in Alaska for their itineraries, their food, their entertainment, and probably as important as anything, of their boats. So we're very pleased to be doing that. Princess has been around for many, many years, and Please Go Away Vacations is celebrating into their 54th year. I mentioned that this was a value added feature travel experience. And what that means for our travelers is that they get extra things that most of the people that are going to be on the same boat and some of the same sightseeing will be paying extra for. It's already included in the one price that you pay. This is such things as your airfare, your hotel accommodations prior to boarding the ship, a lot of sightseeing on land, as well as the excursions when you get onto the ship and start to sail. Normally, people are standing in lines for quite a while to choose those. If you've not been before, which most people haven't, you don't really know what you want to do. So, what we do is select the most popular things based upon our many years of travel experience to include in our feature. In addition, we will send along a personal host or hostess to be with you from airport in Wichita until you return. Should there be any little glitches or any concerns, that person is there to help you. So let's get started. And Larry, you want to tell us a little bit about the itinerary and maybe some things that people can look forward to?
Thank you, Paula, and hello, everybody. This time we're going to spend in the next few minutes will be addressing uh, our most popular and oldest. In fact, it's the granddaddy of all of our personally escorted value added feature travel experiences. We've done this almost 50 years in a row. Obviously, we did not go this summer because of COVID 19, but it's our most long-standing and popular annual outing of our 49th state, and that's all of Alaska. And I mention that because of several things. First of all, we've done this every year for almost 50 years, as I say. But in addition, we have hundreds of people going with us every summer on what we call as you like it trips, where they're going as a family, individually, or whatever. So Alaska is a great destination. What you're going to experience when you choose to go away with us is actually three tours in one. You will come home having experienced all of Alaska. The first part of the tour, or first tour, if you please, is going to be central Alaska or the interior of Alaska. It's an area that many people, quite honestly, do not experience when they go to Alaska. Now, if you do an Inside Passage cruise, you will have a wonderful experience. We have a number of people that want us to arrange just an Inside Passage cruise for them, and that's just fine. But they need to understand, and you need to understand, but that they're not having the opportunity to see all of Alaska. This normally centers around time constraints because the cruise of the Inside Passage is normally 7 to 10 days. But our All of Alaska tour starts out in central Alaska, or what we call the interior. We fly directly to Fairbanks, which is the area of many beginnings in Alaska. And we then wind our way down south and end up at the coastal boarding area of our cruise ship at Whittier, with stops overnight at Mount Denali National Park with wildlife tours and things like that. It's a great experience of the interior of Alaska. And again, experiences that are quite often missed by those that go to Alaska. The second tour that is part of our all-inclusive tour is the Gulf of Alaska. And this is in addition to what most people see normally, because it is where you first begin to see, once you are on the cruise ship, the maritime life and the great glaciers and surrounding areas that are just abundant everywhere in that great state of Alaska, our 49th state. And then the third tour is the famous Inside Passage, and that's a beautiful experience. We started out in Skagway on the ship, and we go to Juneau and Ketchikan. We end up in Vancouver and are then transported to normally Seattle. Sometimes Vancouver is where we fly home from. But we do it in this order because it allows for better connections, avoids red-eye flights on the way back home, and quite honestly, gives a more in-depth experience. Also, by having the interior of Alaska first and then the other two tours following, the tour just unfolds naturally, and it is invigorating in the beginning, and it is more relaxing on the tail end when you're enjoying your luxury cruise. So that's an overview of the 3 tours in one of our great state of Alaska. As I mentioned, it's going to start out in Fairbanks, and this is one of the type of lodges or hotels that one stays in Fairbanks. Now, first of all, you notice that it's not very large, and that's true of all of Alaska because the accommodations, quality ones that we want our groups to stay in, are not abundant and they are not large. You will find large hotels, say like in Anchorage, the city, but when you're in the interior, you will be staying with us in the very best accommodations that are available, such as this Bear Lodge shown here. I also show you the picture here because we have those fireweed flowers and those yellow flowers, indicative of the abundance of flowers that people are going to see in Alaska. Because of the long days, the growing season, there are immense blooms on them. And I need to tell you that truthfully, over the years, we found that going to Alaska, people normally consider it a macho or man-type destination. But ladies, when they come home, are singing the praises as much as, if not more, than the male counterpart because of all the beauty and unexpected things that they've witnessed that appeal particularly to the finer sex. So starting out in Fairbanks, we then move on and enjoy many things in that area. Fairbanks is the home of the Discovery Riverboat, and we take our group out on this riverboat, and we do this to experience 2 different rivers, the Chena and the Tanana. Now, one is a glacial river and one is a freshwater river, and there's a distinctive difference that you'll learn about on the tour. And when we're on that cruise, we will discover many things. First of all, the Eskimo fish trap. This is shown here, and it is motivated or turned somewhat like a cartwheel by the current of the river, and salmon primarily swim into it, and they are scooped up in the baskets that rotate like a windmill and are dumped over into the catchment on the right-hand side. You'll see that right up close. It's a true, still active activity present in Alaska today. On this riverboat, you're also going to be exposed to sled dogs. Obviously, it's during the summertime when the snow in the areas that we're going to be visiting normally is not prevalent. And so the dogs will demonstrate, and they normally do their pulling of what would ordinarily be a sleigh in the wintertime, or sled, if you want to call it that, by pulling a 4-wheel vehicle. But they demonstrate their eagerness and their quite honest ability to pull with great strength, great amounts of load and weight over great distances. Another thing that you'll experience when you're on this river cruise, and it's why we included it at the very first part of the trip, is exposure to the native inhabitants of the area. They're beautiful people. They have particular customs. They have certain ways they live. They have certain practices they still do in their everyday routine. And you will be exposed and meet and talk with some of these people up close and personal. And then, of course, this next slide here is going to show an airplane, and you may wonder about that. But a demonstration will be made right alongside the Discovery Riverboat of an airplane like this taking off and landing, and the amazing short amount of distance that is necessary. Now, we highlight an airplane because by and large, the greatest means of transportation in all of Alaska, highest number per capita of any state in the nation, is Alaska with their airplanes. They are a tremendous method of transportation to the points throughout Alaska. Here during the summertime, you can see they have pontoon floats on them. Those are converted to skis to land on snow and ice during the wintertime. Those are all great riverboat experiences and a great exposure to a beginning experience that you're going to have in Alaska. It's also from Fairbanks that we get to see something that many people don't even come close to when they go to Alaska, and that's the Alaska Pipeline that stretches more than 800 miles over the state. Some of it is above ground, such as you see here, and some of it is below ground. When it is above ground, you know that there is permafrost present, that the ground is somewhat unstable, and that they therefore raise it above the ground to protect it against the movement that is always part and parcel of where permafrost is found. You'll also note that it does not run in a straight line. This is because it is designed this way to protect against the movement of earthquakes, which are somewhat prevalent in Alaska. It's an amazing architectural design feature and engineering feat that is over 800 miles, as I say, of pipeline that is 4 feet in diameter and 1/2 inch thick steel that was welded together. It started out with 40-foot joints of pipe. 2 joints were welded together to form a working joint of 80 feet, and then that 80-foot length of pipe was attached repeatedly for more than 800 miles to create this pipeline. Upper right-hand corner indicates that you'll have the right to and the ability to see and touch the Alaska Pipeline. And in the lower right-hand corner, you'll learn about the Alaska Pipeline Pig. This is a vehicle that traverses up and down the inside of the pipeline to wipe down the paraffin accumulation from the sides of the wall. You will see and touch the Alaska Pipeline. Another thing that you will experience, again, many people going to Alaska do not, and that is you will pan for gold and see a gold mine. Panning for gold is an activity that we see that you get to participate in, and we guarantee that you will be able to come home with some gold, not because we provide it to you, but because we are assured of you being successful in getting some small flakes of gold. Quite honestly, some people get very little. Others have gotten $30, $40, $50 worth of gold that ladies in particular often make into fine jewelry that they have findings for near the gold mine. You'll ride a narrow gauge train there. You'll go inside, have a nice shop that you can look around and be served complimentary cookies. And it is an amazing experience of panning for gold and seeing a working gold mine. Another thing that we do as a feature bonus, which is not included as part and parcel of other tours that you may find anywhere, is the first full evening in Fairbanks. And it's not the night of arrival, but it's the second day or after the first full day in Fairbanks. We take you to the Alaska Salmon Bake. You can sit inside if you like, or you can sit outside. It's all of the type of seafood that you want, amazing salad bars and other accoutrements that go with the meal. Halibut is often featured on the menu as well, and they do have a fantastic honey mustard sauce that they put out for all to utilize if they prefer, and I can tell you that I particularly like it on halibut, and it makes one halibut of a good meal. Also, we will provide for you in your interior experience of Alaska an experience on an Alaska train. Now, first of all, you get to see the vast, immense vistas that are present throughout the interior of Alaska. But you do this in a very unique and comfortable way that nowhere else do you have the same opportunity. And that is you will enjoy reserved seating in a glass domed rail car that gives you unimaginable views. It's also from this vantage point that you first begin to see up close and personal glaciers. Alaska has more glaciers than the rest of the world combined, and they're of two types. One is called a tidewater glacier, which means it comes clear down to the water. The other is a hanging glacier, indicating that it is hanging on the side of a mountain. But those are all things that you will learn and you will enjoy in the complete comfort. Now, notice we say wildlife viewing if lucky. The size of Alaska is immense, and those animals are not caged up. They are not confined so that you for sure will see them, but we give you a number of opportunities to do so. So I've had the privilege, as have our people on tour, seeing most of the wildlife of Alaska, ranging from grizzlies to moose to elk, and all that in between, even the ptarmigan birds for which Alaska is famous. And this is done in many ways. One of which is we take you out on a nature tour when we are in Denali National Park that is approximately 4 hours in length and takes you up close and personal to nature. Another thing I mention as being, if lucky, is seeing North America's tallest mountain, Mount Denali. The majority of people going to Alaska do not see Mount Denali. Uh, we've been fortunate to see it many times. Our groups have over almost a half century, obviously. But truthfully, there are times, and no one can promise you that you're going to see Mount Denali because it is so huge and so immense that it creates its own atmosphere, and many times it is shrouded in its own atmosphere of fog and cloud cover that allows it not to be visible to you. But keep your fingers crossed. And the hotels or lodges that we will be staying in have a unique feature. One of those is the Mount McKinley Princess Wilderness Lodge. It's the lodge closest to Mount McKinley. And one of the things you can do is you can leave a wake up call with the front desk so that if Mount McKinley decides, or Mount Denali as it's now called, decides to come out in the middle of the night, uh, they can ring your room. You can get out in your bathrobe or whatever, go out, stand on your balcony, and get a magnificent view. Our groups have done that. We suggest that you do it. But Denali National Park Lodge and Mount McKinley Princess Lodge are those that we choose to do this. But this lodge happens to be the closest to Mount McKinley, Princess Wilderness Lodge. I mentioned that you would be departing from the port of Whittier, Alaska, and ladies and gentlemen, for the most part, you're looking at Whittier, Alaska. You can see that the train comes up right near the ship that's waiting for you. You get off the train if you arrive by train, and you walk across the highway, board your ship, and you begin your voyage, which is a magnificent experience. And again, recall that you first start out cruising the Gulf of Alaska and then conclude your adventure by doing the Inside Passage. Your ship is going to be a luxurious floating resort. Paula mentioned that we have all these years chosen to use Princess because we want the very best for our clientele and for the things that we do, although we represent all cruise lines. And truthfully, ladies and gentlemen, of the major cruise lines going to Alaska, all of which we have for all of our travelers, you won't find a bad cruise. But as Paula did indicate in her opening remarks, Princess is consistently rated the #1 cruise line in Alaska. And this picture here shows just some of the luxury and the ambiance of the interior of the ship. Also on the ship, you're going to have other enjoyments that you can participate. All of your meals are going to be included. And a word of caution here, many of our travelers, when they first get to Alaska, want to immediately, while they are still on land, start buying crab legs and things of this nature, they're quite expensive. We suggest that you wait till you get on ship and you can have as many crab legs as you want, no additional cost, as often as you like, or you can have steak that you can see right there on the right hand side, or other types of delectable dining. All of your meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, plus snacks in between and midnight buffets, are all provided to you at no additional cost. Also included are events that include nightly entertainment on stages such as you see here, similar to Broadway and Las Vegas style productions. They also have small cabarets and lesser stages where comedians can perform, small musical combos can perform. Anything that you want to do, you can go to enjoy without additional cost. It's included as part of your cruise experience, and it is something that is a great way to end each day. We give you your choice of accommodations. We don't insist that you have a particular uh, class of accommodation. Um, by far, most of the people choose a balcony accommodation, but that's entirely up to you. We will advise you certain sections of the ship that we don't want you staying in or prefer that you don't stay in because of things that we know that might obstruct your view or subject you to being near a entertainment room where a band is playing that might disturb your night's rest and things of this nature. In other words, by having been there 40 plus years, almost 50, every summer, we and sending hundreds and thousands really over that same time period to Alaska, we know and can give you advice and answer your questions about Alaska. Another thing that's present for those of you that desire is casino games. It's not entirely, it's not mandatory at all, but like it's entirely not included in what we provide to you. So your winnings are yours, your losings are yours. But if you so desire, games of chance are available on your cruise. Uh, Onboard shopping is also available on the cruise. It's sort of amazing all the variety that you have that will appeal to all ages and both sexes. It's quality goods and material available for your consideration. And also, you can go down almost like to a quick shop and get maybe a snack or something, or something that you want to have, maybe in the way of Kleenexes or toiletries that you might need or forgot to bring along. It's all available for you on board shopping uh, on the ship. So, what are going to be some of the things as you experience from the ship? First of all, this is a picture of a natural wonder that regularly you will see and hear in Alaska. And I say here because when it occurs, it's like a cannon going off. What is happening here is a glacier is calving. A glacier continuously moves forward. And as it moves forward, huge hunks of ice, along with smaller hunks of ice, drop into the ocean or give birth to an iceberg. And the term for this is a glacier calving, and it is an amazing experience. And we go and take you to such places as Glacier National uh, Bay, or Glacier Bay, where it's a national park, and you have the opportunity to see for almost an entire day the magnificence and overwhelming power and beauty of glaciers, and also you will learn the meaning of ice blue. You'll mention, or I did mention, that you have chunks of ice that are falling off into the water. They become floating icebergs, smaller here. It's a great place to see the fowls of the area because they will often sun themselves there, as will seals and things of this nature. Your ship is going right by there, and as I mentioned earlier, you will see many evidences of ice blue coloration. 3 ports of call are included. We start out, as I say, for a port of call in Skagway. Now, Skagway is the original area of the Trail of 98. It's where the prospectors gathered and then had to walk over Chilkoot Pass to start the famous gold rush. Each prospector had to carry in over 2,000 pounds of supplies because the pass closes down in the winter because of the snow and accumulated ice. They have no way to get back out to get more supplies. So, in order to not be stranded, it was mandatory that they carry in on their backs over 2,000 pounds of supplies so they could begin their prospecting. Now, obviously, this required many trips over Chilkoot Pass. The origin of this type of thing in the small city of Skagway is what you will learn. You will have a port of call or to visit, and you will have a shore excursion included that we provide in each of the cities. And we also provide to you free walking tour maps so that you can, in addition to what you see on an included tour with a professional guide, have the opportunity to go out and explore your own by virtue of these walking maps. You can't get lost. The town's not that big, but you will understand and begin to appreciate uh, the Trail of 98, the Gold Rush, and Skagway. Our second port of call will be Juneau, which is the capital city of Alaska. Interestingly, it's the only U.S. capital of all 50 states that you cannot get to by highway. You have to arrive either by plane or boat. And you might think, well, Hawaii is on an island, but yes, Hawaii has highways that encircle the island and things like that. There is absolutely no highway entering or leaving the city of Juneau. Again, tour included for you to have an in-depth experience. Free walking map tour included that we provide for your extended exploration if that's something that you desire. Then it's port of call number 3, Ketchikan, Alaska, which is known as the salmon capital of the world. I can almost guarantee that you will be rained on when you are here. But another aspect about Ketchikan that is unique is that it is often called the first city of Alaska. Now, that in no way means that it is the oldest. What it does mean is that you would first come to Ketchikan, Alaska, as you came north from the lower 48. And so, upon arrival in Alaska, if you were coming from the south or the lower 48, the first city or port of call you would normally come to would be Ketchikan, Alaska. Again, filled with history, beauty, and memories to bring home with you. A unique thing that we've been doing for years is also providing a feature bonus of an Alaska ulu. That's a traditional Alaska knife that you see here. Every member going on one of our tours and on this tour will receive that ulu. And I can tell you that Paula, that did the introductory remarks on this, and my wife Marilyn at home, both have ulus in their kitchens. They are one of the most handy utensils that you can have. They're great for dicing vegetables and things of this nature. Obviously, the Eskimos use them for that purpose, but they also use that type of structure for the skinning of animals, the filleting of fish, and things like that. And a workable and memorable keepsake that you will have compliments of Please Go Away Vacations and Alaskan Ulu. Some additional Please Go Away Vacations feature bonuses and I'll recap these because Paula mentioned most of them, but included shore excursions in each port of call, complimentary walking tour maps that I referred to. One of the things that we do on each of our feature tours too is that we produce and distribute to every member going away on one of our feature tours a memory photo DVD, which are candid photos of the people and places that are on that particular journey. And we make them into a DVD that has a music background to it that you can view as often as you want, and of course there are more features as well. Check out the brochures for always that which is included. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wrap this up. Hope you've enjoyed this sneak preview. A truism that we've crafted here in the office that we truly believe are that travels are memories made and shared that are never forgotten. I will add here something that I sometimes say, and that is the 5 saddest words we hear in the practice of travel is that I wish we would have. So, you know, if it's too late and you can't go back for health or other reasons, don't wait too late to play. Travels are memories that you can bring with you and share, and they will never be forgotten. So, please remember that if you have questions or want to learn specifics about this or any of our other services, we always practice small town caring worldwide since 1966. We're proud that we're from a small community. Every one of our clients is also a friend. You are not a number. If you have questions or you want to contact us, feel free to call toll free 800-362-9347. Or if you choose to email us, email answers at travelpleasegoaway.com. A promise we make to you is that you will always be promptly served by one of our full-time team members of professional travel advisors. We're here to serve you. Thank you for your time. And remember, please go away.